Within a filmography that spans from the 1970s to present day, and up to this point only 3 feature films under his belt, revered 82-year-old Spanish filmmaker Victor Erice has finally returned to make his 4th feature, and his first in more than 30 years, with the magnificent Close Your Eyes, a film that marks a long-awaited return for a master of filmmaking, yet a work that might also end up being his swan song. Erice first introduced himself to the world with his enigmatic masterpiece, The Spirit of the Beehive, in 1973, a film set in a remote Castilian village shortly after the end of the Spanish Civil War, where we follow a 6-year-old girl, Ana, who is propelled by her childlike imagination and innocence, where reality and fantasy are almost inseparable in her unrestrained mind. When she sees James Whale's Frankenstein projected in her village's makeshift cinema, she's a transformative and traumatizing viewing experience that leaves her drawn to the film's monster. When she comes across a barn where a wounded soldier has been staking out, Anna, with her youthful naivete, mistakes the soldier for Frankenstein's monster, believing she magically conjured the creature by saying the words, "I am Anna," a phrase that then echoes all the way into Close Your Eyes nearly 50 years later. The film is a masterful evocation of the oppressive atmosphere of Francoist Spain, alongside a visually ravishing tale of adolescent interiority. But in the time between the seminal Spirit of the Beehive and Close Your Eyes, Erice has had a sparse but highly acclaimed output, with only 1983's El Sur and 1992's The Keen's Sun. El Sur conjures the same dreamlike reality that Beehive was so steeped in, a lyrical coming-of-age fable made up of memories and fantasies, a father-daughter story that was tragically left incomplete due to funding being pulled mid-shoot, but one that still evokes a complete inner world for its characters, and is all the more otherworldly because of it. The Keen's Sun, however, is a deviation from the dreamlike and steps closer into stark realism, as it is an unconventional documentary about the Spanish painter Antonio Lopez Garcia that is often wordless and almost entirely an observational portrait of an artist at work. It's steeped deep in detail and process, and employs only very simple formal techniques throughout its unhurried runtime. I guess it's not too difficult to see why Erice has had such a small body of work. It's not that his meager output signifies a lack in quality by any means, it's that his films don't exactly cohere to the sensibilities of commercial cinema. But funnily enough, the reason I believed there hadn't been another Erice film since 1992 was that I just assumed he was long dead, and remarkably, Erice seems to have telegraphed that, as Close Your Eyes speaks so directly to his near disappearance from cinema. In the first moments of Close Your Eyes, we're greeted with the beautiful French countryside and a peaceful old mansion residing behind ravishing gardens. In this scene, we find a private detective named Monsieur Franck meeting with Monsieur Lavie, a wealthy and dying old man whom we learn wants to hire Franck to locate his missing daughter, hoping to fulfill his last wish of looking in her eyes once more before death. But we learn following this engrossing, classical film noir scene shot beautifully on celluloid, and after Franck accepts the mission and departs the withering estate, that voiceover then comes in, and we realize what we were watching for those introductory 15 minutes belongs to the film within a film called The Farewell Gaze. And this Monsieur Franck is a character played by a famous fictional actor named Julio Arenas, who mysteriously disappeared in 1990. We are then thrown directly into digital images of a modern cityscape in Madrid of fall 2012, where Julio's close friend and director of The Farewell Gaze is about to participate in a true crime program, Unsolved Cases, that is going to bring the puzzling disappearance of Julio Arenas into the limelight once again. The show thrusts Miguel into a meditation on memories and experiences long pushed back into the recesses of his mind, and which he attempts to reflect on what actually happened to his collaborator and dear friend. Could he really be dead? Did he simply run away to start anew, leaving behind his family and movie stardom and the desire for total obscurity? Or are the conspiracy theories correct, and that he was engaged in a tragic affair? This past-present weaving of the narrative that follows closely parallels, in real life, the fictional mission accepted by Arenas' character in The Farewell Gaze, elegantly introducing us to the ways in which Erice is going to toy with things like meta-narratives, genres, and tropes over the course of the film. Erice structures the film as a series of lengthy one-on-one conversations with Miguel and other individuals important to the life of Arenas, where they are both forced to engage with the past. These sequences are almost entirely set in small interior spaces, private and intimate settings for the deeply personal chats that unfold forwards and backwards in time. In this revisiting of the past, the film places a special significance on various objects and materials that help unspool the lost time and memories. Books, photographs, movie posters, cassette tapes, relics from the unfinished film. Items that not only assist in the investigations, but also construct for the viewer a complete history between the characters, a carefully drawn history of friendships, lost loves, myths, politics. There's plenty of obvious allusions to his own cinema, as well as odes to the cinema he loves, whether through direct homage or small details in the mise-en-scene. There's a concluding sequence set in a movie theater that harkens all the way back to his own revelatory theater sequence in The Spirit of the Beehive, or in a more obvious cinematic homage, characters singing along to My Rifle, Pony and Me, drawing explicit parallels to Howard Hawks' classic western, Rio Bravo. It's a film so deeply cinephilic in its construction and sensibilities, a vehicle to showcase Erice's deep appreciation for film and its sheer beauty, mystery, and magic. Close Your Eyes is a meandering but complex work, one that takes many narrative detours and intersects fact and myth, truth and fiction, lived and imagined, but it's all expertly brought together through Erice's simple but effective visual style, one that is built from an interplay of different shades of light and dark, speaking directly to the film's core concepts of the visible and invisible, and the tangible and intangible. Erice's very muted, faded visual palette works in tandem with the film's mechanisms of human memory, as similar to our very perception of memories, the film rarely has any presence of bright colors. This aesthetic, paired with this starkly novelistic, procedural style of narrative, may turn some viewers off, but it allows us to observe a patient, gradual rekindling of life and memories, climaxing with a sequence of ethereal beauty that morphs the seemingly dry and modest into the transcendent. If Close Your Eyes is indeed Victor Erice's farewell, it was a graceful one at that. A lyrical fusing of his past works and artistic preoccupations that ends almost exactly where his first began, in a movie theater where characters soak in the beauty of moving images and where the cinema becomes a place for miraculous transformation. Whether it's in film as an act of sheer enchantment for a little girl, or as an act of remembrance for an amnesiac man, Erice's films have always been so attuned to the fleetingness of all things. But as he's so artfully mapped out over the course of his 40-year career, art allows for a particular immortality that as we move in and out of this world, his small but flawless body of work will continue to live on, and hopefully revive within every new viewer the sense that cinema is, and forever will be, magic.